Did you know that 80% of people struggle with negative thoughts around food? Whether it's feeling guilty after eating a dessert, eating one meal and feeling like you've ruined everything, or just feeling like you're never going to be able to lose weight, negative thoughts around your health and your food are way more common than you might think. And they could be sabotaging your progress without you even realizing it. Today we're diving into the psychology of eating and specifically cognitive distortions and how they negatively affect your beliefs about yourself and your beliefs about your ability to lose weight or eat healthier. They also influence your relationship with food. So a quick disclaimer before we go any further, I am not a licensed mental health therapist or a licensed mental health professional. I'm simply sharing my own personal experiences with my health and my weight loss journey and those of my clients. If you feel like these negative thinking patterns are deeply affecting your mental health, please seek out the guidance of a licensed mental health professional. All right, so back to cognitive distortions. So what exactly are cognitive distortions? They're essentially inaccurate or exaggerated thoughts that cause a distorted picture or reality in your mind. So these thoughts can drive unhealthy eating behaviors as well as making your ability to lose weight even harder because you keep having these negative thoughts on repeat. So essentially, they really do impact your ability to have a balanced relationship with food. And again, I can speak from personal experience here, and I shared that a little bit about that in one of my previous videos where I talked about the mindsets that you need and the mindset shifts that you need to make in order to lose weight. If you want to check that out, I'll just place the link in the description for you. So let's dive into some of the most popular cognitive distortions around food and how you can begin to tackle them. The first one is catastrophizing. And this is when you completely blow everything out of proportion. So it could be something like, well, I've already had 2 cookies, so I might as well just go ahead and just eat the whole bag. Catastrophizing, what it does is it takes this one simple small slip up and it turns it into like this massive defeat. This often leads to a what's the point attitude and then often drives you to eat emotionally. Next is black and white thinking, or otherwise known as all or nothing thinking. This is when you see things as completely good or completely bad with no in between. So for example, it could be, apples are good, cookies are bad. This is a classic, simple example of black and white thinking, and you may fall into this trap yourself, or you may even know somebody else who does. So it's one thing to acknowledge that apples are more nutrient dense because yes, of course, that's a fact. But cookies, they serve an entirely different purpose. Usually they serve the purpose of comfort or enjoyment. So the problem with this distinction is that it becomes so rigid that this causes emotional and mental turmoil. It just starts to take up too much mental energy and then it negatively impacts your emotional as well as your mental well-being. If you think about eating a cookie as a moral failure, this is when black and white thinking becomes harmful. Next, we have overgeneralization. This is a popular one. This is when you take one negative experience and you apply it to everything. For example, I failed on my diet the last time I did this, so I'm never going to be able to lose weight. People with this mindset see a single negative event as like a pattern of defeat and failure. So let's say you're trying to eat healthier, but then you go out to a restaurant with your friends and you order the wrong thing. Instead of just thinking to yourself, no big deal, I'm gonna make the next meal healthier, you tend to spiral. So you start to spiral with thoughts like, I always mess up when I go out to eat. I'll never be able to stick to eating healthy. Before you know it, you've worked yourself into such a tizzy that you even start to question your self-worth. And then you start to probably think about quitting your health goals altogether. This is the mental trap of overgeneralization. It convinces you that one mistake defines your entire journey. This leads you to frustration and then eventually giving up. Next, maximizing and minimizing. This is when you exaggerate the negative and you downplay the positive. Again, this is another really popular one. So for example, I missed one workout this week. I am so lazy. Maybe you ate healthy the entire week, but yet your brain zeroes in on that one workout that you missed. Then you start to downplay all of your wins. So for example, you might say, well, yeah, I ate healthy this week, but I missed that one day of working out, so it doesn't count. This distorted way of thinking makes it impossible to feel good about the progress that you're making, which eventually leads to burnout and self-sabotage. Next, we have can't, shouldn't, mustn't thinking. And this is when you have very strict rules around food. And it also makes you feel guilty when you break those rules. So for example, I can't ever eat ice cream again. The problem with all of this should thinking is the shame that comes along with it. When you tell yourself, I shouldn't eat ice cream or I shouldn't eat carbs, then you fall into this trap of creating these unrealistic rules for yourself. Rules that are really hard to follow. Not only does this make you feel deprived, it also sets you up for failure. And then when you inevitably slip up, it reinforces that belief that you have that you can't stick to anything. This is one of the most common cognitive distortions that I see with my clients. That's why in my Swap It, Don't Stop It challenge, I help you to break down these negative thinking patterns and these negative beliefs and replace them with more empowering ones so that you can have a more balanced relationship with food without feeling guilty. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. So here's the thing about cognitive distortions. They're not just mental, they actually can affect your physical health as well. Some studies have shown that these negative thinking patterns can lead to increased stress levels and increased cortisol in your body. This can drive cravings as well as increasing fat storage, as well as causing you to overeat or even emotionally eat. So it's not just what you think, it's about how you think about food. But recognizing these thinking patterns is key to breaking them. That's exactly why I created the Swap It, Don't Stop It challenge, to help you to break free from these negative thinking patterns, overcome emotional eating, and helping you to choose tasty, healthy food swaps to make healthy eating easier. If you're ready to finally lose weight and keep it off without feeling deprived, make sure to click on the link in the description to check out the challenge. Let me know in the comments which one of these cognitive distortions you struggle with the most. Let's open up the conversation about this because I want you to understand that you're definitely not alone. And don't forget to check out my next video where I'll show you how to manage overeating and to finally feel in control around food.